Not so much of an opportunity today to make any sort of vlog. Dealing with gusts of 45 mile an hour, trying to keep his feeder in the water. What a day. Wasn't bad though. Got this. Still better than sat in the house. I'll be back out tomorrow, but I'm fishing somewhere local. Just a little private loch. Mostly to use up the rest of the ground bait because I mix too much. I don't want to dump it in the side. So now the mission is reverse out of here, drive home, have a bath, have a beer.
The next morning.
Today's view. We're fishing in Enniskillen town centre today. I'm on the whip because I can't be bothered doing my feeder again. And my piece is being ruined by two absolute tools with their dogs. Both dogs snarling at each other, so let's stand and have a chat with each other. And now one of them's been attacked. There's a word for these people. Here's hoping they just piss off and leave me alone. They're right behind me. Well, here we are, another day out. That's 2 days in a row I've been fishing. It's been great. Well, yesterday wasn't so great. Yesterday I fished on the Lower Lough Erne, and when the 45 mile an hour gust of wind kicked up, it was just a bit spicy. That, and I shredded 4 shock leaders. That's the Korda tapered leaders. I shredded 4 of them on several mussels. And to start the day off, the leg for my Preston storm shield fell off and went straight into there to about 12 foot of water. So I'll have to buy a new one of those. It's been a magical day so far. It's Father's Day. I hope all you fathers out there got treated well. I got my father a bottle of rum. So I'm expecting drunk phone calls later on tonight. Just fishing with a 8 metre whip. This is a little midday whip. When I stopped match angling, I sold all the poles. I had some poles that were like out to 16 metre, big census poles. Well, they all got sold, so I kept a couple of whips. I kept a 5 and an 8 metre whip, so I got the 8 metre whip out today. Mostly because I haven't fished like this in a long time, and thought, let's give it a go. I'm feeding yesterday's ground bait at 8 metres. I'm fishing 3 inches from the bottom. And I've lost 1 pole rig today so far as well, from a jack pike. So far today we've had 2 dogs fighting because stupid humans walk the dogs too close to each other. Now we have whinging kids. I've done it to myself by coming here. Yeah. But I thought, you know, maybe a Sunday morning that I've all been in bed with a hangover. But no, they're out. They're out going full bore human. Right, the plan is now to try and get this leg out of the fucking bottom of the river using 2 landing nets. I'm hoping to get one underneath it and use the other one to kind of collapse in, and then figure out if I can lift the 2 of them up. And wouldn't you know, the sun's gone away under the clouds, so I'm sat here thinking it can't be done at the minute. I'm going to have to wait till the sun comes back out. Operation grab it by the net, 2 nets, didn't work. It just pushed it deeper out, so it's gone forever now. Even stuck my head under to see if it was any clearer to see it, and yeah, no, it's not any clearer. So, new extendable leg for the storm shield, and then the plastic clip thing that holds the storm shield. That'll be 25 to 30 quid down the bloody drain. What can you do, eh? I'm feeding them there sort of size balls of ground bait. I don't have much ground bait left, so I don't think I'll be staying too long. This is going to be good for you. The river is flowing this way, but there's like a weird effect once they stop the sluice or the Portdown gates. Everything kind of backs up, so your float will be going downstream, then stop, and then start to go upstream. Fishing on the Lower Lough Erne. Fishing with a whip is the easiest form of fishing known to man. Basically you have, in this case, an 8 metre carbon pole, carbon whip even, and then you have a bit of an elasticated top 2 section in case you hook into like a bonus fish. This elastic is the green Drennan bungee elastic, so I think it's like 6 to 8. So it's more than capable of handling silver fishing the odd occasional bream. I have another section with a 14 to 16 elastic. That's what I would use if I was fishing on a carp pond. It's a nice day, but in between like sporadic showers of rain. Catching roach and perch, mostly perch. I don't do this type of fishing very often. Oh, I bumped it off. Float I'm using is a 1.5 gram float, so I have a little 1 gram Olivetti and 3 number 8 stots. That takes it down to the ideal sort of size. The rig itself is £6 mono straight through. Hook length is £6, but it's a little bit of fluorocarbon. Mainly because that's what it was tied like when I first started when I picked it out of the drawer. Having roast beef for dinner. Quite looking forward to that. As you can see, they're crawling up the line, aren't they? I now have some friends coming to join me. Hello, ducks. We have some Magus ducks. Oh look, one's got a gimpy wing. I'm going to call him Hoisin. Hoisin sauce and duck. Yes, you know it tastes good. Oh. Well, I think that's it. I think it's time to go. Roast beef dinner is calling. Sorry, this hasn't been an action-packed vlog. Can't be rock and roll all the times. Normally I finish up these videos, you know, with the whole blah blah blah, thanks for watching, hope you had a good day yourselves if you were out and all of that stuff. More recently I've been saying a lot of stuff like, I hope you're looking after each other, I hope you're checking in on your loved ones, because of the whole COVID-19 stuff. It seems that the COVID-19 stuff is now a distant memory for, especially for the media in this country. I can't help but feel there's a certain element in the United Kingdom that took an event on a different continent as an excuse to instigate a riot. Have a good old-fashioned tear-up. There seems to be a lot of, up yours to the cops at the minute. Now, I'm not a policeman. I've never been a policeman. I've had both positive experiences with police and negative experiences with police. What can I say? Cops are a necessary part of society. They're there to force the rule of law. Disagree with them on the whole kind of arresting you for, posting naughty words on Twitter because somebody got their fifis upset. Disagree with that a little bit. I disagree with the whole hate speech stuff, the whole idea where, I can say something and some totally lunatic, some total fruitcake can say, I don't like what he said, I'm phoning the police because I feel offended. And you will get a knock on the door if that happens. You can say something as biologically correct as men have a willy, women do not have a willy. And I guarantee you, you will upset the trans whatever group by just saying, biological fact. So I don't agree with the police doing silly stuff like that there. I think that's beneath them. But, again, positive experiences with the police. My time in the armed forces, I played rugby for the armed forces, for the Air Force, blah, blah, blah. We often played against the police, against the fire brigade, against, paramedics and NHS doctors. We played against a lot of people. Now, I love rugby. I love going to watch it. I can't play no more because I'm crippled, but when I used to play it, I loved it. And it brings me on to the next little point. I noticed the difference very, very early on of when I go to watch a rugby game, like when I go to watch Ulster at Ravenhill. And say you've parked up your car, you get out of your car, you're going to Ravenhill where they play, and you stop and ask a cop. Say you weren't there before, you stop and ask a cop for directions. Or what time is it, because the game's going to start at whatever time. And the police will be polite, they will be respectful, they will be jovial, they'll talk to you, they'll have a conversation, they'll be good people. Excuse me. So when it comes to a football crowd, now I'm a Rangers fan. As a Rangers fan that goes to a Rangers match at Ibrox, the police, not so friendly. Again, I understand that they have to police things differently. I guarantee you for a rugby crowd, there won't be any violence. For a football crowd, there might be violence. So the police treat things, accordingly. I don't always agree with this, but that's the way it is. I mean, the police have masters, they have people that own or direct them, so they've been directed to do A, B, and C. I've been to football matches where cops are almost itching for any excuse to get stuck into you. So, you understand where you are. I have no doubt in my mind that the people that are in charge of that police force will have been told, no nonsense from these people, get them sorted if they start anything. So, we're getting a lot of negativity at the minute about the police. And I feel this is unjust. The UK is not America. Cops do not go out there and routinely shoot people dead. Not in the United Kingdom. So for people to scream at the policemen, you're institutionally racist, I don't understand that. There's a group within the police, it's like a social element of the police force, and it's specifically for black policemen. There's also one for female policewomen. There's also one for gay, lesbian, whatever people. There's all these different subsets of groups within the police force that have their own little group, they have their own little social group where they can go and hang out and do things and whatever. but they're all represented by the police union. So for someone to say the police is racist, well, the black people that are in the police force, they'd probably disagree with you. Now personally, I've had good experiences with the police and bad experiences with the police. I guess everyone will have the same. Good experience with the police. In 2003, I was coming back from Iraq. I was there with the Air Force. I'd been in theatre for quite a long time. I was over my tour. The war had kind of started and my tour got extended, but that's no story. We flew into a place called Bream and Hybrids in Oxfordshire. On the way from Bream and Hybrids to my base, Oxbridge, the bus driver that was taking, quite a lot of us, he said, "Do you guys want to stop and get a greasy spoon, get a breakfast?" Now, at that time, we had been travelling for a lot of, I think I'd been travelling for 21 hours to get to Bream and Hybrids. We had a long holdover in Cyprus. There was something wrong with the aircraft, so we had to hold over in Cyprus. But that immaterial. We arrived in Cyprus early in the morning, nowhere to get something to eat. There's nowhere even to kind of get like a couple of hours sleep. You just kind of had to stand around on the airfield, you know, and wait for whatever. But we went to this cafe place, or it's beside a service station, and you know, everyone went to the bank machine to get money out, and then everyone was going, "Oh shit, what's my code for my PIN number?" Because we've been in theatre for so long, we'd never used you don't use your cash machines in theatre, you don't have that opportunity. So I was there going, "Well, I know my PIN because it's unique to me." So I said to the guys, my friends that were there, you know, "I'll spot you a breakfast, you can give me a tenner back when I get back from whatever, holiday leave." And we took out some money and we're on the way to the greasy spoon. It was like a food truck thing. And this great unwashed hippie, anti-war protester, probably what we would call Antifa now. They weren't Antifa back then, they were just scum. He came up to the crowd of us. Now we were in uniform and he started spitting and kicking off. Probably not the best idea on his behalf, you know, pick a fight with a bunch of servicemen that had just come back from a war zone and spit on them, or you know, swing at them and spit at them, and before any of us could react, there was cops, and I mean running. By pure unluck or luck, depending on whatever way you look at it, a traffic cop car had pulled into the service station to, you know, get whatever, and seen this unfold. So they, jumped out the car, raced to this guy, and took him away. Those cops saved a massive problem, especially for the soap dodger, because I honestly dread to think what would happen to him if the police hadn't have been there. But that's a positive experience with the police. Negative experiences, again, we'll all have negative experiences. I've been tased by the police before. Not fun. You don't want that. I've been assaulted by a policeman before. Again, not fun. You don't want it. Let's talk the assault. The assault happened in a bar in Belfast. I was out for a few drinks with my friends. It was my turn to buy a round of drink, so I was going to the bar, and the lady behind the bar had given me a tray, because there was quite a lot of us and I was buying pints for, you know. I took the first run of drink over to the table and was going back to pick up the second run of drink, the last run of drinks. And I got barged into, punched, and the beer went everywhere. Now, I wasn't very happy at this. So there was a bit of an argument ensued and punches were thrown. I got arrested. Regardless of all of my friends who witnessed the whole thing, and the bar staff who witnessed the whole thing, I had to spend a night in custody. That impressed the military personnel that I worked for. Oh my God, that impressed them so much. It almost cost me my career. Now, on that occasion, this person that attacked me or hit me was an off-duty policeman. It became very, very clear that the guy was a troublemaker for the police, and issues happened. Now, while this was happening, around about the Thursday of that week, you know, a couple of days after it, I had spoke to one of my friends who works behind the bar in that pub, and she was fit to get me a copy of the security footage, the CCTV footage, and she emailed that to my solicitor. And when the solicitor, you know, arrived with this, it was very clear what happened, and you know, all the charges, you know, they never even got to the PPS side. It never even got that far. You know, it was drunk arsehole, picked a fight. You know, again, he got disciplined for that there, and I'm not going to go into what happened to him, but that's a negative experience. When I got tased, I was in London, and I got into a fight. There's a common theme here, getting into a fight. Believe it or not, I don't actually like fight. It's not me, but there was me and a woman I was seeing at the time, and she had travelled down on train to spend a weekend with me. I picked her up at the train station. We walked to a Blockbuster. Now, for those kids that don't know what a Blockbuster is, there used to be these things called VHS tapes, or DVDs now. And you had to go and rent them from a shop that rented movies. So this is what we did. We'd got a case of beer, a pizza, and a DVD to watch. So I was thinking that's tonight's entertainment sorted out. Both kind of broke. It was the end of the month. And as we were walking back to the base where I was stationed at that time, there was a bit of a scuffle, and like not in front of me, not, you know, in the peripheral vision, like over in a corner. And it's like, yeah, okay, fair enough. It's nothing to do with me. I'm not involved in it. Blah blah blah. We walk past. The scuffle spills out into the street, and I got sucker punched in the back of the head. And I was on the ground. You know, I kind of came to, and there was pizza everywhere, with beer rolling down the street. God knows where the DVD went to. You know, I never ever found it again. And as I came to, this guy was hitting the woman that I was with. I don't like men that hit women. That's one of my things. So I had a word with him, and in the process of having this word with him, it was a sharp. It felt like somebody had, you know, held your two shoulders together like that. There, you kind of like that there, and I was wondering, you know, what was that? I didn't register it as being tasered. I only kind of registered that I was going to be tasered when the young Pakistani policewoman kind of came in front of, like, standing about 5 feet from me, in front of me, holding a bright orange taser. Now, the reason the cops use bright orange or bright yellow for tasers is because if you're in a state where in your brain your brain's concentrating on beating the shit out of the guy, so your brain won't respond to, you know, that's a bit much, chap, you want to stop. Your brain's in a mode where this has to happen. So it's what's called red mist. Red mist comes down, violence. So they use a bright colour that your brain can kind of register as, wait a minute, what's that? Oh dear, that's not good. And it was like time slowed down, like slow motion. And I could see the two spirals of the taser, and it got me just there. And my whole chest folded in, and I was on the ground. But long story short, I ended up going to court. And the guy that picked the fight with me, or sucker punched me, he got I think it was 18 months sentence. The guy had a long criminal history. The guy was a drug addict. He was off his face on something. He got, you know, time at His Majesty's pleasure, and things got sorted out. I got an apology, and I did get some financial compensation, because the young police officer had not followed her procedures correctly when she discharged the taser. She was supposed to kind of scream taser, 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 or something like that there, but either way, she didn't do it right. And I got an apology. And other stuff had happened, and that was, pretty much it. I mean, again, it showed that, or the people were kind of witnesses were saying, these people were just walking, and this lunatic came over, started picking a fight with them and punching the woman. And incidentally, the judge at the time was more annoyed with the violence against the female than me getting, hit in the back of the head and having to get like 8 staples and stuff in the back of my head. So you opened me up. So again, it is what it is. So that's my 2 negative experiences with the police. Now, we need police officers. I have no illusion that there's going to be good ones and bad ones. There's going to be good and bad in all society. We just have to kind of weed out the bad and tell the good, well done. The issue that happened in America, I did mention in my last vlog that what happened to that fella when the cop choked him out and killed him on the street was wrong. No apologies, no doubts, wrong. And that guy is going to get, jailed for the rest of his life. And I can't imagine it's going to be pleasant for him going to whatever prison he ends up in, being the policeman that, caused race riots in America. But the United Kingdom's not America. The United Kingdom isn't institutionally racist. It is not, America. One of the things that really, really upset me and annoyed me, really boiled my urine, so to speak, was watching the Senate half in London get defaced. Now, let's explain why. During the First World War, when soldiers died, they were buried where they fell. Rich families could pay to have the remains of their loved ones brought back to the UK to be buried in whatever. Poor families obviously could not. So towns, cities, all around the United Kingdom built war memorials, and they put names on these war memorials of the people that, from that area that passed in battle, and there's buried over wherever around the world. The First World War ends, Second World War begins, and same thing happens. People die, and the names are added to the memorials in various locations around the United Kingdom. This happens right up until today. There's memorials around the UK where, for the likes, the guys that were killed in Iraq and Afghanistan, their names will be on like memorials in their towns very often, or the National Arboretum, in Staffordshire, or I think it's Staffordshire, I can't remember where exactly it is, but they're basically their name. So it's a Senate half is treated like a tombstone, a headstone. Now, I'll be honest with you, if I was in a cemetery and I seen somebody deface a headstone, I probably wouldn't be best pleased. And in fact, I will be very honest with you, if I caught people, vandalising headstones, I'd vandalise them and then hand them over to the police. So to see people vandalising the Senate half in the middle of our capital city, that was it for me. That was a no-go. I don't care about your protest. Protest as much as you want. Do it peacefully. Have a bit of respect. But don't step on the toes of the people that have fought and died for your freedom that you enjoy today. So here we go. I'm going to end the blog here now because I don't like getting annoyed and pissed off and all this shit. Don't think there's any reason to get annoyed, but it's just a little quick one. I want to say thank you to all my subscribers. I want to say thank you to everyone that's liking and sharing the videos, and everyone that's leaving comments. I do try and get to reply to each of the comments, but I miss the odd one. So don't be irate at me if you don't get a reply. But until the next time, guys, tight lines.